Let's go, boys. Let's fucking go.
Are we recording this?
What about pigeons?
Are we recording this?
Yes.
All right, suck my dick. I'm doing the intro this time.
Nah, I'm good.
Hello, fellow heretics. You're back again with me, Corbin.
Shit intro,
And
mate.
James.
Shit intro, mate.
Yeah, try harder. Cope
Blake.
seed mold. Go on.
It's me.
No,
your other
no one
co-host
cares about
Blake
you.
here.
Shut up.
Ah, fuck! Shut up! It's me.
All right, well, we're back with another episode. This time we're talking about the Black Legion. But first I want to say, please like and subscribe. Thank you to all the people watching our videos. We treasure you all dearly. I think about you at night when I'm in bed.
Alone.
Move
Yeah.
on, move on,
myself.
freak. Come on.
All right, we're going to kick off the Black Legion episode with a quote. Oh, we don't do too many of these, but I've got a sick one for the Black Legion.
Fucking
From
nerd. Fucking nerd.
Hardcore of the Black Legion, and it goes as such. Fuck you, Blake. No. No.
Fuck him too.
Alright, so the quote is, butcher your enemies without mercy, crush his armies and leave none alive. But do not stop there. Burn his cities, bomb his world from orbit, slaughter everything and everyone until he kneels in the ashes of those he sought to protect. Only then will he understand the true fury, the fury
You
of
wanna
the dark
start?
gods.
Do you want to start that again, freak?
The furries.
The furries. No, it's fine. We can do
Space
that.
Wolves.
There's furries in Black Legion.
Yeah.
You know what the funny thing is? Space Wolf, like furries, are a thing
Yeah, they
in 40k.
there
Oh,
are
God.
abhumans that are animal people too.
They're everywhere.
Freaks.
Can never escape.
Also, the Tau have hooves.
Oh, yuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they want your feet.
So the Black Legion, they're also called the Spear of the War Master, Abaddon's brotherhood of black-hearted killers. They are the largest force of chaos.
Chaos is failures.
The largest force. Fuck you.
I saw your face, Destin.
They're so mad. No, it's fine.
Cope seed mold.
They fight the long war against the Imperium that they built.
Long war.
I can't
Taking
wait
forever.
till the Imperial Fist episode.
It's a 9-inch war.
The Imperial Fist episode's gonna bang! And you know why? Because I'm coasting it. Oh, that would be horrible if you ended up hosting it.
The yellow boys.
Yellow boys.
You're gonna bring the yellow boys
Oh,
in
yeah,
my
I'm
Black
waiting for
Legion
all the-
episode.
I'm waiting
for
for
the
all the
piss
piss
god.
boy jokes and everything.
Yeah. Siege, fortify, siege, fortify.
Yeah.
But yes, they are a mix of all of the traitor legions joined under Abaddon, who forsake their legion's colors and paint their armor black because they are edgy boys. They are sick.
Black like my
It's okay because it's good.
Yeah.
Okay because their dad never loved them. So it actually kind of works out well.
None of their dads did love them.
Yeah, fair.
Name a Primarch.
take it
who-
back.
No, of the traitor legions.
Oh, the traitor legions, Magnus, and to point out to you, Mortarion. I got you there.
Well, no, you're right. Mortarion did love his sons.
Yeah.
But and technically Horus did too. It's more that
In the beginning he
sons-
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I rescind what I said. I was dead wrong. Proven correct.
Not gonna be the first
Totally
time.
corrected. Already starting off this episode with a failure. We love it. We love it here. We love
Well,
it.
you know, it's Black Legion, so it has to start off with a failure. May as well end with one.
We're never wrong.
But it ends with
Just
the
check the
destruction of the whole
comments.
world. Yeah. And if you're going to correct us, I don't care what you think. No.
I'm so glad I'm not going to edit this episode.
Oh, yeah, I have to edit it. That's fine.
It's the chaos.
Yeah, the chaos of it all.
So Abaddon is the only leader able to unite these vastly different warbands together and get them to work together. Even the Night Lords couldn't make the Night Lords work together, and he manages to do it really well, which is a feat of itself.
Yeah, I will admit, and like, obviously in our last episode we talked about the beginnings of Chthonian and what actually Chthonian was, and how they started off as the Lunar Wolves, and then how they turned into the Sons of Horus, because when Horus became War Master, they took pride in themselves. But the one thing that I would want to relay across with the Black Legion is their beginnings as the Lunar Wolves and Sons of Horus. Because when that transition happened, when they went from Lunar Wolves to Sons of Horus, the Imperium was going through a bit of a change as well, where there was the end was in the sights for the Great Crusade. They had almost taken over the galaxy. A lot of the Space Marines, not just the 16th Legion, Black Legion, not just them, but all the other Space Marines were wondering about where their place was going to be at the end of the Great Crusade, because they had perfected themselves into these great soldiers. Like, other legions went to them for advice because they had perfected the spear tip, or the spearhead assault, where some strong soldiers will come in and then make a point into the defenses of the enemy, and then the rest of them would thrust in, just like a spear tip.
Yeah, like a wedge.
Exactly, make a wedge into the defenses. But the problem was that a lot of Marines were feeling that they would be under the control of bureaucrats and humans that didn't earn that, and that they wouldn't be under the control of their generals or primarchs.
Like Space Marines in 40k.
I would-
Will of, like, human population that don't actually give a shit about them.
I would agree and disagree. It depends on the legion. It depends on the chapter.
I mean,
But-
try to make a Space Marine do anything that they don't want to do, but...
Exactly, but they have. I would say that Space Marines in 40k have that autonomy where they can do mostly what they want to do until the High Lords of Terror or the Inquisition get involved.
Yeah, but even then, they're too strong. So.
Yeah, even
like
then.
the Space
Even
Wolves
then
would
they
be
could-
like, haha, we kill your Inquisitors.
Yeah, even then they could tell them to get fucked.
Yeah, and
But-
the Space Wolves do.
But I just wanted to talk about like the disposition that a lot of Marines had that led them to becoming the Black Legion.
Yeah, and then this is like post Siege of Terror, the broken Civil War, and then united under Abaddon. Some still stayed faithful to their like legions, but then a lot were like, actually, I think we got a better deal going with Abaddon.
With the
Or
Undivided.
a lot of the other forces, like Emperor's Children, for example, they just went straight into their degeneracy and lost sight of the bigger goal, which is taking down the Imperium. So a lot of individual members of each of the Chaos Legions were just like, I'm sick of just sitting here doing nothing or just doing what our Legion does best. I also want to do what our Legion does best, but I want it towards a higher purpose and a goal, which is what Abaddon brings to the table.
Emperor Children's focus is the thick ass of Mama Slanesh. But
Fair
anyway,
point.
getting back on track.
I thought I was on track.
No, from the thick ass.
Oh, right.
I mean, yeah.
Back
Yeah.
from the derailing that you caused yourself.
Oh no! It's the consequences of my own actions. Demons and demon engines are prevalent throughout the Black Legion, maybe even more so than a lot of the other like traitor legions. And they embrace the powers of all four Chaos Gods. Yet Abaddon does not give himself over to the powers, as we talked about in the last episode, or his dream of ruling over the Imperium. So he basically wants to bring the Imperium to its knees, kill the Emperor, and take over as like the ruling class.
I always pictured that Black Legion is like the best for somebody that wants to play Chaos and also has ADHD and can't decide, because you could literally field whatever you
was
want.
me.
Yeah, because you can field whatever you want, except for like Legion specific things, like Death Shroud, for example.
Well, they actually can take certain like elements from other
ally
like,
units,
of the other ones.
Yeah,
allied
so there are
units.
limitations,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like with Chaos Undivided and Black Legion, you could do whatever you want. You can bring in nothing but demon engines, and it would be and paint it as Black Legion, and it would be thematically correct.
In fact, they even have basically a detachment rule for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I also respect it, because respect Black Legion, because it's there for choices, and that's why in their army rule in the Chaos Undivided, you can choose for specific groups or detachments in your army to have the Mark of Slanesh, which gives them this bonus, and then this lot over here can have the Nurgle, the Mark of Nurgle, and then this one the Mark of Chaos. So that way you
That
can...
was 9th edition. That's not.
No, you can do that now.
Can you do that in 10th edition?
Yeah.
I don't think you can.
No, you can.
I'm sure the comments will tell us that we're wrong.
No, you can choose. You can still choose that for each of your company groups.
Oh, okay. I thought that was just a 9th edition thing. So it looks like after closer inspection, some do, some don't. If you do Veterans of the Long War, you don't get to choose your Mark of Chaos. If there are others that you do, including Night Lords for some reason. I mean, thematically.
and word bearers.
And Word Bearers. So, both right. Tick, tick.
Yeah, we're both technically right, but yeah.
And both wrong at the same time. Just like chaos.
Ironically, chaos is chaotic.
Yeah. But recently, in the more recent times in the 40k lore, the Black Legion has been allied with Vashtor the Archiphane, who is a demon wanting to become the 5th Chaos God. Vashtor is responsible for the worlds who make the demon engines for all the chaos, and give the Black Legion the firepower they need to take over the galaxy. Their armor is often painted with depictions of the Eightfold Path, but mainly all in black with gold trim, and this all shows their commitment to Chaos Undivided. You got anything interesting to say about Black Legion, Blake?
Oh, I personally like Black Legion for, like, I don't have an army of them, and I don't think I ever would, but because there's other legions that I would want to play instead. But with Black Legion, I respect it for its creative freedom. Like, you could do whatever you want to them, and it would be technically correct. Like, for example, if you wanted to make up your own warband, like, say, for example, the Bloodied Knives, for example, and they came from Emperor's Children, and then paint them however you want, do whatever you want with them, create your own warband. You can literally do that. It's the same thing that you're of creating your own chapter in Space Marines, but you can create your own warband in Chaos Space Marines. So I like that level of creative freedom that it offers you. Yeah, it has a lot of options for kit bashing. They've got, here's the thing. This is the one thing I was going to tell you about before. The one thing I realized about the Black Legion is that the Sons of Horus is the only legion, the only Space Marine legion, traitor and loyal, to die with their Primarch. When Horus died, so did the Sons of Horus, and then they became the Black Legion. The Black Legion is, in most of its members, I would say, are previous Sons of Horus and Lunar Wolves, but you can't claim that they all are Sons of Horus, because they take basically the worst of the worst from all the other legions. So
Actually, so many of them aren't Sons of Horus, too.
I would say that too, yeah.
It's a probably like a 50-50 mix from what I've seen.
I would say that, yeah.
Yeah.
But like that's a funny thing to think about, is that they were the only ones that died with their Primarch. Whereas like Iron Hands of Pharaoh's Manus continued on, Sanguinius and Blood Angels continued on. Even the Night Lords still continue on in some form of fashion, even after Kurz's death.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I hadn't really thought about that.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I do, I'm not sure if you're going to get into it as well, but the one thing that I do respect about Abaddon is that when he created the Black Legion, he did try and cater to all demands. So, for example, I'm not sure if you're going to get into this, but let me know if I'm not. So, for example, if you're a world eater but still has like cognitive thinking, but you don't like where Angron is just mindlessly going after and you want a bit more purpose, you can go join Abaddon, and he'll put you in the Hounds of Abaddon, which is a specific World Eaters section warband that follows his fleet. If you're Death Guard, but you don't like Mortarion and you don't like Death Guard, and the way they're going things about, you go join the Bringers of Decay, which are another Abaddon splinter fleet. And then if you're Emperor's Children, and you're sick of Fulgrim just sitting there doing and then also doing
Yeah. Bleep, 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 bleep,
yeah.
bleep.
You
Can't say on YouTube.
Yeah. You can go on to help Abaddon and become part of the Children of Torment, which is another subdivision under Abaddon's Black Legion banner.
Yeah, they call them warbands.
And then, yeah,
They're
exactly.
not called the Bloody Flower?
The Bloody Rose.
No. And then if you're 1,000 Suns and you think that Magnus is an idiot, you go join the Sons of the Cyclops.
Or also known as the Gaping Hole.
No, the Gaping Hole is chaos in general. But anyways, but like I like that Abaddon created these subgroups because he foresaw that this was going to be an issue. Is that when you get so many different chaos like aligned individuals in together in one room, they're going to try and kill each other. And in that Black Legion book that you and I both read, that basically happens within the first chapter.
Yes, it happens.
Yeah, but no, that's what I find interesting. I like Black Legion because. But the thing is that they're also in a weird spot too, like lore-wise, because they had that beautiful beginning of being the standard that all legions have to adhere to and then they look up to in terms of quality and standard. And then
Well, I would say they're still the standard for traitor legions to look up to. They have the biggest force. They have a direct leader that everyone follows rather than being splintered. And they actually go on proper crusades against the Imperium rather than just like raiding parties or just looking for slaves like
I
Fulgrim.
would say so, but there's also that level of respect that isn't there compared to before the heresy.
The only one who's attacked the Imperium as much as Black Legion is the Death Guard.
No, I know that, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying that there's not that same level of respect. It's more about like the standard is fear, in it, like because of how powerful they are, as opposed to that's a role model I want to be.
Respect,
It's a different type.
Yeah, it's changed.
Yeah.
It's almost like we're converting him.
No, it's not you converting me. It's just like me as a player, and also a painter and a collector, and also reads the lore. That I can respect almost every aspect of Warhammer lore.
I think the more you learn about Warhammer, the more you find that there are interesting aspects or things to like about every faction.
Yeah.
Except Tau.
But I mean, that's
And Erebus, fuck Erebus.
that's the what like that's
But
the
we
beauty.
still like the Wordbearers.
Yeah, I still like the Wordbearers, but fuck Erebus.
But that's the beauty of like what Games Workshop has done is like they've catered to like it's so that they can sell more minis. Like at the end of the day, like yes, they do have all this lore aspect, but at the end of the day, they sell plastic. Like that's their bread and butter.
Yeah, and
Warhammer's not for everyone, but
Yeah,
there's
and it
something in
shouldn't be.
Warhammer that everyone could like or
Yeah.
would like. I'd
and
say.
it shouldn't be for everybody, because the thing is that a game for everybody is a game for no one, in my opinion. If you don't care about your specific audience, and if you try and care about every audience, then you end up disenfranchising the audience that started in the first place. That's my personal opinion.
You turn into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then the same exact shit, and then that same shit happens.
And what?
But-
Then we get a third Deadpool movie? Fuck yeah!
Yeah.
Yeah. A flower and a piece of shit is still a piece of shit. but,
Hey, as long
anyways,
as long as they don't do another
what I-
Captain Marvel movie, then
Yeah.
we're good.
yeah, exactly. What I will say about Games Workshop is that I will be the first one to criticize their decision making on some things, like for example, Imperial Agents getting rid of Death Watch, some of their mini choices. I will be.
Oh, we
there-
hate them for that.
Yeah, I know.
We
I
hate them for that.
As I just bought my Death Watch Master.
Fucking
Watchmaster
so
for-
mad.
I'm so angry about it. But here's the thing.
Why make it an Imperial Agents thing that's just, that's going to be a whole episode
Yeah.
where Blake and I just rage about that.
Yeah, bringing in kill teams that we didn't care about. Anyways, but I'll be the first one there to critique them, but I will also give them their props, and I will say that Games Workshop have done a great job at
They've
creating
sold lots of plastic to us.
sold lots of plastic, but at the same time, they've honestly created something that I never thought I would care about so much in my life.
Yeah. The stories, the lore, it's so vast.
Hmm.
You're like, oh, it's a tabletop game. There's probably like a smidgen of lore. No, the lore eclipses what the game is. Like, well beyond it.
And the good thing is that you can engage with whatever part of it, however much you want.
Yeah.
I would say as like a collector and not so much of a lore person, just starting to learn about it, but I feel like it's almost at the same sort of realm as like D&D. Like there's a lot of lore with D&D.
Nah, I would say more. The problem is with
Way
D&D is
more
that there is a section of it that is like canon, but then the problem is that everybody else creates their own lore with D&D. Whereas with Warhammer, I
Everything is
think they
canon.
have them. I know, but I think they also have the most amount of canon lore compared to
Oh
the
yeah,
others.
no, they have a lot more canon lore. But I'm saying like as far as like lore is concerned, like they're up there with something that has been around since like the 60s. Like D&D has been around forever.
I think they've got
It's
more
massive.
than. I think they've
they
got more than
eclipse.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
I would say
And
I would
maybe
say Lord
Lord
of the
of the
Rings has
Rings.
more. I would
Yeah.
say Lord of the Rings has about more than that, but that's because he's been around since World War One.
I don't know. I reckon it would be on par with Lord of the Rings. Just because more races, more things. They all have backstory. I
Yeah.
mean, some needs to still be fleshed out, but there's more lore in the Horus Heresy than there is in all of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's fucking huge.
especially new Star Wars.
Yeah.
But like even
And it's because of that. That's why I respect the Black Legion. It's because you have that creative freedom to do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
but just like Star Wars, they also contradict their own lore.
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. But that's the thing. We come out here and we'll make fun of it and point it out. I will be the first one to critique them, but I'll also be the first one to say they did a good job.
I also still buy their fucking plastic. So.
I will still. And the problem is that, like, as much as we go to 3D printing as well, there are some models out there that are just absolutely worth the money.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, yeah, when I find STCs, or STLs.
Fucking, you're in the Warhammer brain, mate.
I'm in the Warhammer brain. When you find STLs that actually rival what is put out by like the newer minis in like GW, then I will print more. But the quality of some of the newer minis that GW releases, it's just like the detail is fantastic. It's better than you get in any like D&D mini. It's better than you can get in most STL files. You know, it just blows me away every time I put together a new model.
Getting us back on the track to the Black Legion episode, as opposed to why we love Warhammer.
Yes. So we're moving on to notable members of the Black Legion, because the Black Legion has some of the most interesting characters in all of Warhammer, in my opinion.
Before we do that, I just wanted to ask the same question that Corbin asked me. What drew you to the Chaos Marines? Why did you end up buying a bigger army than both Corbin and I have combined, despite the fact you don't know anything about the game or the lore?
One, money falls out of my pocket, and I attach to hobbies really quickly. But two, I've actually been looking at Warhammer for a long time. Like, I can remember when I was a kid, there was a kid that I used to like hang out with, and his dad was right into Warhammer, and he had an army of Space Marines, so just the Blue Boys, but like would never let any of us other friends touch them. Like, he would play with his Space Marines, they were all metal, but he would never let us. So then I was like, so like,
you enjoyed it from afar. You were like, oh, it's taboo to touch.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I want this. And then as I got older and started to get money, then I was like starting to look into it. It's just where my location was, where I was, there was no like Warhammer players or nobody that I knew that played it. Yeah. And then I moved
closer to us.
I moved to Brisbane, and now I'm stuck with two Warhammer people, and they beat me in a game, and I have to beat them. So now I have to buy more minis so that I can try and beat them, but I never have been able to, and I keep losing.
And we just shove the lore down your throat every time you come over.
See, this is the reason why you also lose here.
But it's weird because like whenever I play games, I always play as the good person. So like in like Fable, I would always like go to the good person. Like, even when I'm playing, like, Elden Ring, we can't get into Elden Ring because Blake will fall asleep. But when I play Elden Ring, I normally play, like, the good person.
Wait. Didn't you say your first ending in Elden Ring was the madness ending?
My second ending was...
It was the Frenzied Flame?
Yeah, my second ending was... My first ending was marrying Renala. Marrying Rani.
That's also technically the bad ending.
Well, we can't talk about Elden Ring and Warhammer because Blake will fall asleep. But I always play good, but then the chaos, every time I went into a Warhammer shop, the chaos
just stuck out to you?
just stuck out to me.
Yeah.
Like, I would walk straight past the blue boys. I'd look at the orcs, but they didn't really get...
But that red background with the black and gold armor just got you.
Man, it was so sick. And black is my favorite color. And I saw them. I was like, that's the army that I'm going to get. So I bought... That was the first combat patrol I bought. The first actual Warhammer, anything that I bought was Age of Sigma. I've actually got quite a lot of Age of Sigma stuff, but they're all in boxes.
This is where I fall asleep.
Yeah.
Sigmar's got... I would say Sigmar's got about the same amount of lore as Star Wars at this point.
Yeah, but Sigma has cooler models, which I'm just jealous of.
I know, the rats in Sigma are so sick.
No, fuck your rats. They got cool
rats and Stormcast
They do have
are
cool.
awesome.
They actually have really cool.
They're the most two boring ones. Whatever.
I like the Nurgles in.
No, lizard men riding dinosaurs and like undead riding dragons.
Skinks are cool too, man.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Yeah.
I do like the what is it? The make something.
Fuck, I don't know, man. I'm not Age of Sigma.
They're the Nurgles of Age of Sigma.
Plague walkers. Plague bearers.
Yeah, but they're called Magotten
Maggotkin.
Maggot.
Yeah.
That's it.
One of those.
One of them. But yeah.
Anyways, continuing on to it. I just want to know. I just want to know what drew you to Black Legion first.
Yeah.
Age of Sigma do have better looking models, just not as good lore.
Here's the thing. That's not a denigration against with Warhammer 40k minis, because 40k minis are great, but at the same time, like...
Age of Sigma minis slap, and it's annoying that they do.
Yeah. I've got Skaven Tide, I'm ready for 4th edition, just no one else wants to play, so... I'll just play with
I'm
myself.
already
Well, my
so deep in armies of 40k. I don't really want to go into Age of Sigmar.
My problem is that they've discontinued a lot of the Stormcast Eternal models that I've got, and I just don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah.
Even though if I would, it'd be Skaven Boys.
Yeah, you say that you always choose the good side. He's like, yeah, Imperial Fists and the Stormcast Eternals.
Yeah,
he
I'm
is
the good
our
boy.
golden boy.
I'm the goodest golden boy over here. Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah, you are the golden boy.
Yeah.
Says on our
All
list.
right.
Anyways,
All right.
back-
This is a Black Legion episode, and we are well off the tracks.
Let's get back
this
to the
is
black.
Meme of Thomas the Tank Engine snorting coke off his rails here. First up, notable members of the Black Legion. We have a
Do you guys
model
wanna
that
see
you
them?
also have, Harkin World Claimer.
Do you guys want to go see the new Alien movie?
I'm cutting that.
I'm fucking with you.
I'm cutting that. Herald of the Apocalypse. Herald of the Apocalypse. Page 40 quote. I've given myself
Oh
instructions
yeah,
here.
Harkin World Claimer. Yeah.
Yeah, Harkin World Claimer. He is the best. Here we go. Strap yourselves in. This is a
I know.
long ass quote.
Oh, I know Harkin.
Harkin. Yeah, Harkin.
Yeah, I know Harkin.
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 He's got the big long spear.
He's
Hard
got
on. Hard on.
He's got the big old spear.
The big old spear. So, before every doom, there is a portent. Before every apocalypse, a sign. Harkin World Claimer is that dark omen given form, and the otherworldly destruction he heralds is the coming of the War Master himself.
Coming.
Harkin takes a heinous joy in his role as the mouthpiece of Abaddon. Shut up. For it is he that proclaims the death of worlds. He does so not with the quotidian threat or hollow boast, but a driving spear of terror and confusion deep into the heart of citizens and soldiers alike. In such a fashion, he prepares the way for the coming of the Black Legion as his airborne
Why'd
hosts
you look at me when I said
descend on tongues of flame. I don't know, man. Chaos episodes go wild.
You
What
fucked
can
me
I
up with the
say?
Age of Apostasy, so this is just your just desserts, mate.
It's just fair.
You said tongue?
But yes, he is originally Night Lords, is he not?
My favorite Night Lords, as we mentioned in the last episode.
Yeah. Harkin World
He
Claimer.
was a Night Lord before joining the Black Legion.
Yeah,
Oh.
he's not Sons of Horus.
I thought that he looks like he has like the talons and everything of a.
He only just got this backstory in 10th edition.
Oh yeah, they brought out
right.
his mini. No backstory.
They brought out his mini in 9th edition.
Yeah.
Or maybe, yeah, I think it was 9th edition his mini came out.
Oh yeah,
And-
it was either that or 8th. I can't remember.
Yeah, and he had no lore. And I was like, I love this guy. What is this?
They gave him a named character model, but with no backstory.
No
That's-
backstory.
that's
His
the one time-
lexicanum was
yeah.
blank.
Yeah.
It was like, he works for Abaddon.
Oh wow.
And that was his
He must have come out at
backstory.
9th. He had to come out at 9th.
He came out in
came
9th,
out
I'm
in
ninth.
pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, and then he's coming to 10th, and finally he's got his own page.
Yeah. And, oh, so cool. So, as a Night Lord, he ran his own group called the Gloom Talons,
Yeah.
which were jump pack raptors that strike from the night to butcher their enemies.
And the funny thing is about, just to let you know, James, the Night Lords can do other things, the same thing as other Traitor Legions. They can like have heavy assault. They can be good at like subterfuge, like Alpha Legion. But what they're best at is jump pack flying and raptors and warp
And
talons
flaying.
and flaying. That's
they-
what their main models are. Is the raptors and the warp talons.
Because they have deep strike on like.
Anything with a jump pack.
Well,
is
the
deep strike,
raptors do, yeah.
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 But yeah, so basically, before he joined the Black Legion, he would take his Gloom Talons around, and he would seed cultists on every world. Basically, if he found like a governor or someone important on a world, he'd like kill everybody else in the street and leave their bodies strung up on chains, flensed of their skin and still screaming.
Typical Night Lords.
Typical Night Lords. And then he'd get to the nobleman, and he would give him an offer. He'd be like, "All right, you're going to become my eyes, or I'm going to, do
Take-
terrible
or I'm gonna
things to
take
you.
your eyes.
Yeah, or I'm gonna feed you your eyes.
Yeah.
And so basically that became like he had like informants on all these worlds that he landed on that would like feed him all this information and continue like growing. But during Abaddon's 5th Black Crusade, of which we know very little.
Because, just to point out as well, it's one thing to take over a world, it's one thing to maintain a world.
I was thinking, like, it's crazy how much of a imp lover that you are with the Imperial Fist. That are, like, the goodest of good, like...
Well, they're not the goodest of good, but yeah, anyways.
No, that's Salamanders.
Well, but they're
like a
very-
standard of Space Marine, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I love
And then
Night
I mean,
Lords.
they're
Love
pretty
the
good.
Night
They're
Lords.
pretty honorable by the rules,
Yeah.
strictly.
Just to point out, people, as to what, like, for the audience that doesn't know, I love Yin Yang. I love the extremes. I love Imperial Fist because they are that representation of discipline and stoicism. But then I also, on the other end, love Night Lords because they are the exact opposite, and I love contrasting characters.
Yeah.
He just likes sad people that enjoy pain. Dawn has...
Oh, let's
Pain
get into
glove?
this. No, let's get into his own fucking episode, so that I can explain it better than you.
Yeah, so Dawn loves causing himself pain because he gets off on it.
No, he doesn't
Night
get off
Lords
on it.
like
No,
causing
he doesn't.
pain to other people because they get off on it.
Just to explain, because he's fucked this
No,
up.
no, no, we're moving on.
No,
During Abaddon's fifth
you
Black
fucked this up.
Crusade-
No.
Wait, what's a pain glove?
Pain Glove is basically a machine that Dawn created because he believed that...
It's a cum sock that
It's
causes
not a
pain.
cum sock,
Oh,
fuck off.
Jesus.
No,
I don't
it's
wanna
not.
know- I don't wanna know about it.
No. It's literally a suit that, like, it taps into your neural receptors and causes the most amount of pain to you because he believed that...
Like a gimp suit.
No, shut up!
Is this not like what's old mate with the nails on his head?
Yeah, kind of, but it's
Is this
more
not
like
him?
it's self-inflicted.
No, it's because the thing is that he believed that through pain you will be able to understand yourself truly and like meditate through pain. Because if you were able to withstand the world that the pain that the universe can give you, then in that you can find clarity. And that if you can survive whatever pain is given to you, you can survive no matter what happens to you. That's his reasoning.
It's basically self-flagellation.
Yeah. It's just
Well,
like-
it is, but without the religious aspect for it. It's more or less about...
Oh, Daddy!
Like, no,
Daddy, Emperor,
No.
please!
No,
Through
it-
this pain, give
Well-
me clarity!
No, because like you learn to enjoy to deal and enjoy the pain, but not like Emperor's children.
Spoken like a true masochist.
If you learn to survive the pain, you can deal whatever your enemies deal to you. The Imperial Fist can't like do because there's an
Can't get
organ-
off without pain.
Shut up! Shut up! I'll throw something at you. Basically, they don't have the access to their Susan membrane, which allows them to go into suspended animation.
Sorry.
the sus membrane.
It's short for suspended animation, so they can't like go into hibernation like other Space Marines can.
They're like
So they
being kept
literally-
waiting.
Shut up, for fuck's sake! Basically, they have to learn to keep going. Whenever they have like a limb shot off them, for example, they'll take a second and then just keep firing because they have to keep pushing through.
Through the pain, yeah.
Yeah.
And they enjoy it.
And in so doing, no, that's Emperor's children. And in so doing, become arguably the best standard for soldiers, for the Space Marines.
We've spoken about so many other armies other than the Black Legion.
I
in
know!
This episode.
This
Yeah.
Black Legion episode is like 20% Black Legion, like 10% AOS,
Just-
and like
no.
10%
20% Black Legion? That's Black Legion.
No,
Anyways,
they're all Black Legion. Once you don the black, you're Black Legion. Anyway,
that's a fair
getting
point.
back to Harkin
Once you
World
go black, you
Claimer,
can't go back.
because Harkin World Claimer, yes, is absolutely a G and deserves much more respect than we're giving him right now.
I would say, out of all Black Legion, he probably is my favorite.
He's
But I
really
will be
cool.
honest with you, when I do get his model, I'm going to kit bash him to a Night Lords.
That hurts me.
Change that spear into a chainsaw.
No, we're about to
Chain
talk
glaive.
about the Hell Spear.
I was actually thinking the same thing. I might change mine to a Night Lord too. But I'll keep the
Look
spear.
at your face, Corbin.
But
You
I'll
are
keep
not
the
happy.
spear. I'll keep the spear. The spear is cool. I would just paint it Night Lord. Corbin's going to explode.
I'm actually going to get Abaddon as well and turn him into a Night Lords champion just for the fucking
I
sake of
wouldn't
it.
do anything as blood.
I'm going to come into your room and smash your models in the night. The Hell Spear, given to Harkin by Abaddon, is a demon-touched relic. You know,
Now, just to double check, does that mean has a demon in it, or is it like demon touched?
it is not a demon weapon.
So it's not like Fulgrim's
It's
blade.
demon touched. It's been blessed by the magic of demons.
So it's not like Fulgrim's blade or Dracnian.
It's not like Dracnian,
Okay.
to my understanding. Besides it being an absolutely devastating weapon, which you shouldn't replace with the fucking chain glaive, even on the tabletop, fucking fantastic. It has also become a symbol. Upon landing on each world, Harkin drives the weapon into the world's ground and roars out a fell promise that the planet will fall. And he has yet to be proven wrong.
Weirdo.
Fucking sick. And probably the coolest Night Lord. There are some really cool Night Lords, like Sevatar and Telos are way up there.
Here's the funny thing.
But-
is it you'll come across this with the legions in the chapters. The legion itself will be awesome, but shit characters. Or the whole legion will be cool, the whole legion will be shit, but with cool characters. Night Lords, the whole legion is shit, but the characters are cool.
Yeah.
Fuck you for calling the Black Legion shit.
No, I just
Because
said-
they
no,
have
I'm
really
saying about
cool
the-
characters.
No, I'm saying about the Night Lords.
Yeah, I know, but you said like...
No, some of them are like that, is what I'm saying, is that you'll hate the Legion, but you'll love the characters. If you know
Yeah,
what I mean.
yeah,
Especially
yeah.
with books you read.
Yeah. And then that is definitely the case for the Night Lords. Because the Night Lords are scum, but they have some of the coolest characters. But anyway, moving on to our next one. Iskandar Kaon,
Yeah.
Lord Vigilator of the Black Legion.
Lord Titillator?
Do you know what Vigilator means?
Titillator.
No.
Because I sure as fuck don't either.
Well, Titillator, I met her last night.
He is titillating. He is a chaos sorcerer and war leader of the Kasharan.
Do you want to say that again properly?
Kasharan.
Do you want to say that again properly?
That is properly. It's Kasharan.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Does the decimal change with it, or?
No, it's KHA apostrophe SHERAN.
Sounds like a
Kasharan.
Sounds like an orc name.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, but well, it's a Thousand Sons name.
Yeah, so Iskander Kaon is former Thousand Sons who thought Magnus could go fuck off.
Literally my next line, but thank you.
You're welcome.
It's alright, I do it to you in your episode, so it's only fair.
Yeah, you do.
But yes, he, as you said, Thousand Sons from the Order of the Jackal. He is known by the Black Legion as Kingbreaker. Sick title.
That's pretty cool.
Sick title. Or the mage who brought Magnus to his knees. Which,
This is why when we found out in the last episode that it was him that brought Magnus to his knees, I was like, ooh.
yes. So in the Battle of Prospero, he slew Iaric, Born of Fire, a space wolf who was there to kill all the Thousand Sons. We talked about it in the Magnus episode. But he killed him by psychically dismantling him at a molecular level. And he took his power axe, called Cairn. He also enslaved Iaric's Fenrisian wolf with his tutelary, making him like his familiar. So he has like a pet ghost wolf.
Because
Gaia.
when the Space Wolves came to take on Prospero, he was there, and then he stopped that guy there with his pet wolf, and then made it into his familiar.
And see that axe that he's holding in that picture?
Yeah.
That's Cyan. That's the power axe that he stole from Iaric
like-
after dismantling him.
Imagine if you play D&D and you can't decide if you want to be a wizard or a barbarian, and you choose both.
You choose both, but then you're also a ranger that gets Find Familiar.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he's multi-classing at like a whole nother level.
He's all the classing.
He's actually pretty cool because he's basically Abaddon's assassin, isn't he?
Yes.
If I remember from his book.
Yeah, so he was... so when Magnus and Ahriman fucked off to the planet of sorcerers, he was actually not taken with them. He was not teleported with them. He survived, just barely, on the blasted surface of Prospero until he was found by a World Eater's warband.
Really?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, very
The one
interesting.
fucker that you don't want to come across as a
well-
world eater is you find a psycho.
No, they got along pretty well.
Because what you don't realize, James, is that with the butcher's nails in their heads, you know those dreads that they have
Yeah,
that make them
yeah.
more angry?
Yeah.
It gets fucked with when they're around psychers. It hurts more. So that's why they got rid of the librarians and the world eaters, is because they can't fucking stand being around
Stand being
psychers.
them.
Yes, but the World Eater band that he found was led by Leorvine Urkis, who is actually a ridiculously intelligent World Eater.
Interesting.
The one who still had his sanity, luckily.
So I'm
Otherwise, he would have
guessing
been dead.
If anyone else had found him, he probably wouldn't be alive.
Well, I mean, thank fuck he didn't get found by the Space Wolves.
Well,
Or the White Scars.
White Scars.
May have brought them on, but at the same time,
No,
probably
because they were like going to Prospero to be like, oh, Magnus, what happened? What happened?
not.
Find
True.
out.
Anyways, continue.
Yeah. Anyway, so he later made his way to the planet of sorcerers after this point and opposed Ahriman's spell to save their legion.
Because Ahriman tried coming up with a spell to try and save his legion from the flesh change and tried bringing them back. But the problem was that just turned everybody.
Into dust. I think we talked about it a little bit at the end of the Magnus episode.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's the Rubricae is the spell that he used.
Yeah.
But
And that's why you see a box in Games Workshop called the Rubicon Marines.
yes,
Oh.
the Rubric Marines, yeah.
Oh, Rubicon, sorry.
I do
Yeah.
know.
Rubicon, yeah, sorry. Not,
So
yeah.
when the Rubric spell began to fail, he created a portal with Cyan. So he has a skill, a magic power, basically, where he can use a power weapon to create a rift and, like, teleport with it.
Yeah.
Which is really fucking cool.
So basically, he
when-
uses that axe, doesn't he, to make
He
a cut in
uses
the
the
warp.
axe to make a cut in reality,
And then just
steps through
dips
it
out.
to the top of a pyramid.
He's not the only one that can do it, because some other people can do it, but it's a really interesting ability.
Yeah. But he used that to get to the top of a pyramid nearby and kill Ahriman before he could finish the spell.
Really?
Yes, he tried to kill Ahriman, and one of Ahriman's
Ahriman is Magnus's first captain. He's the Abaddon to his Horus.
yes,
Oh, yeah, yep.
yeah.
Just so you know who Ahriman is.
Except if Abaddon actually towards the end when Abaddon kind of hated Horus is what Ahriman is to Magnus.
Got you. Okay.
So he tried to kill him. One of Ahriman's best friends stepped in the way and died instead, and he failed to save it. So then he left Sortarius, the planet of the sorcerers, with a couple of his brothers and two Rubricae, two Rubric Marines. Afterwards, he became unlikely allies with a Dark Elder named Nefertari. And we haven't spoken about Dark Eldar, but they're not usually people that you become friends with.
Oh, so they're not the same as like normal Eldar.
No, they're-
no.
They're edgy Eldar.
Okay, so quick lesson. We did go through this in the timeline episode. I'll be very brief, Corbin. Or do you want? Or are you
so
going to do
much
it?
other shit in my.
Or are you
No,
trying to do
you
it?
go,
No.
you
I
go,
just
you
want to
go.
briefly explain. So, back in the day, when before Slanesh and all that kind of stuff, the Eldar started becoming more and more degenerate into their degeneracy and what they wanted to do with their free time because they had solved all their problems as a society. The Craftworld decided to dip. Craftworld normal Eldar decided to dip because they weren't happy with their course of their society, and then those Eldar ended up creating Slanesh because of all the degeneracy. The ones that survived live in the warp. Oh, not in the warp. In the
Webway.
webway, in their own little like fucked up city. Imagine like a
Called
city
Cormorant.
imagine a city full of dark gothic pirate Eldar.
And so they make the Night Lords look like choir boys.
They make
They turn people into furniture while they're still alive so that they can sit on you and hear you scream because it's like magic to them. It's like music to them.
Awesome.
Alright, getting back into what we were talking about.
Getting back on the track like a cocaine sniffing Thomas.
Yes, for the second time. No, we were already on track. We were talking about Nefertari. Nefertari was then killed by a greater demon, but before the demon could eat her, Kaon bound her soul to her flesh, bound her back, and basically created another little second summon for himself.
What, like a familiar? Like,
Kinda, but a Dark Elder that crouches in the rooftops and stealthily kills people.
Oh.
Yeah, 'cause she's also got wings, if I remember right.
Yes.
I didn't know that they could do that. Okay.
You can when you know the warp back to front like the Thousand Suns.
Yeah,
Oh, true, yeah.
and basically, like, it's basically like he reanimated a corpse of like a
okay.
super elf.
He's my favorite Thousand Suns character.
Oh, he's awesome.
'Cause when
He's
you
not
say,
a
like-
Thousand Suns character.
Well, he's still Thousand Suns.
No, well,
Former
Okay.
Thousand Suns, your Black Legion,
So,
Dick,
When you say
Dick Rider.
familiar, I think of like, like
he speaks their name and they summon out of the darkness, out of like a shadow.
Like proper wizard sorcerer shit.
that's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
That is sick.
He is really sick. He's awesome. So after he has been fucking around with his Eldar buddy for a bit, he went and helped Abaddon strike back at the Emperor's children after Fabius made clones of the Primarchs. He was one of the ones who helped kill all the clones. Clone Horus killed his wolf, Gaia, and shattered Saern before Abaddon managed to impale Clone Horus on his claw.
I thought you said the clones were like
Deformed.
deformed.
They killed all of them, but then Clone Horus actually had come out like pretty well.
Oh, okay. So not all of them got like.
No.
No, not all of them were perfect because he was trying.
Yeah, but Clone Horus actually looked like proper
We are
Horus
only-
and managed to body 3 captains before Abaddon like killed him.
We are only aware of 2 clones that worked out perfectly. We're aware that the Horus clone came out fine. There's also a Fulgrim clone that Fabius Bile made a trade with Trazen the Infinite of the Necrons for, what was it? Gene Seed, wasn't it?
More Gene Seed, yeah.
More
Gene
Gene
Seed
Seed,
of
yeah.
like one of the chapters or something.
Yeah, Fabius Bile made a deal with the Necron, Trazen the Infinite, for the clone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he's Fabius Bile does a lot of cloning. He also clones himself.
Yeah.
Oh right. Okay.
Yeah.
So with the clones, even the deformed ones, they're not like the deformed ones weren't very powerful, but the ones that come out. pretty
Yeah,
good.
they were still like in test tubes kind of thing. Like
Oh,
they were
okay,
still
they're
being
not,
like
like,
grown,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
Clone Horus was out and like
Actually.
sentient and everything, and yeah, because otherwise facing off against 20 Primarchs would have taken a whole lot more than like
That's what I was-
five. Yeah,
That's what I was trying to
first
work out.
captains.
Like, how are they not more powerful? But
yeah. No, so they were all like still like under construction kind of thing.
Yeah.
but Clone
And
Horus
plus-
was up.
Plus, memories and skills. Skills are formed by memories. And
Yeah.
because I would argue he didn't have that many
Yeah.
memories, or maybe he wasn't connected to all of them. He wasn't, like, it was fighting Horus at maybe half power. I don't know, because I haven't read the first Black Legion book, but I want to. But
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's what came into play a little bit.
Yeah. Actually, I think it might be Fabius Bile's book that this happened in.
No, it was because the Black Legion book we read was the second one out of the trilogy.
Oh yeah.
And then the
but-
third one is where he finds Dracnian.
But the reason that Clone Horus was like fully grown and not under development was because the Emperor's children stole the corpse of Horus
Yeah,
and
so-
reanimated him with the.
and
with
that's probably
that
why the
clone
Fulgrim
shit.
one was fine, because Fabius knew his gene code back to front.
Yes, because he had already experimented and everything.
Whereas
Unfair-
with the other
unfair.
ones, he was sort of going off like
He was creating them from scratch
from
in a test
scratch.
tube. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
But that actually makes a lot of sense now that I think about it, yeah.
yeah. So after that, Kaon pledged his service to Abaddon for saving his life. Kaon and Abaddon actually formed like a brotherhood that with like respect for each other. And after that, the Black Legion ended the civil war in the Eye, and one by one the traitor
Oh,
Primarchs
also-
bowed before Abaddon.
Also, Kaon got a sick lynx, like cat, tiger kind of
yeah,
familiar.
like a puma.
Yeah, that took over from the... Yeah, it's super
wolf.
super cool.
Yeah, and I don't go into it, but the story that happens in that book, which we'll have to do in a book episode,
Yeah,
is really
yeah,
interesting.
totally,
'cause
totally.
The wolf comes back.
Oh yeah, for everybody else not knowing, we're going to be starting our book club soon.
Yes.
I think we've mentioned it, but yes, it will be coming out soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, yes, he made all the Primarchs bow before Abaddon, but Magnus was forced to be brought to his knees by Kaon psychically.
Like
Which is just
the
badass.
Chad that he is.
So badass. It's like, oh yeah, my Primarch, the greatest psyker in the universe. I'm gonna force him to his fucking knees.
Yeah, just like how I said that, about Primarchs and like characters and legions, you'll also come across this a lot. You will find characters in a legion that are better than the Primarchs. It is actually quite a common thing.
Especially
Khan,
once
in
the-
my opinion, is better than Angron.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And
Well,
then-
he maintains like more of his sanity than Angron, and that gives him the edge.
yeah. And who else? Who I would say Sevatar's
Abaddon over Horus.
I was
I
going
would
to say
say
Abaddon
and
is like...
Sevatar's cooler than Kurz in my opinion, for the most part.
Yeah, if Kurz hadn't gone full like
emo boy.
insane,
No, he went full insane.
he went
Oh,
crazy.
super
I thought Kurz
insane.
went like My
Remind us to
Chemical
tell you
Romance.
about the screaming.
Oh, he did,
gallery
but
one
also
time.
like Gremlin, like murder Gremlin.
Yeah, remind us to tell you about the screaming gallery one time.
When we do his episode, yeah,
Actually, if you listen to the book club episode, you'll hear about it.
yeah.
I'll have to listen to it because I don't open up books, so I'm not a part of the book.
Yeah, and we go through all the spoilers. We go take you through the whole story. You'll learn lots.
Okay.
So next character I have up is another really interesting one. Telemachon Lyris.
Tallymacker?
Tallywhacker.
Tallywhacker?
Telephone Lyris. He was a captain of the Emperor's Children who served in the honor guard of Eidolon. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah? Oh, you did. You know this guy.
Yeah.
Look at him. Look at him with the two swords. He is like
Yeah,
an
he's pretty-
absolute
He's a G.
Chad. He is a great sword master.
To point out who
rivaled
Eidolon is, Eidolon is the first captain of Fulgrim.
And this guy, like, almost rivaled, like, Lucius the Eternal with, like, sword fighting.
Oh, really?
Like, he's badass as hell. Lyris was part of a force that attacked the Black Legion fortress to steal Horus's body. And that was where he was badly injured by Kaon and taken up to Kaon's ship. Well, he was badly injured by Kaon and another member that we're going to talk about in a second. And taken up to Kaon's ship, where he was healed by Nefertari. Now this, I think you're both going to really enjoy. It's really funny. I don't think you know this, but he fell in love with Nefertari.
Fuck off!
I
Really?
shit you not. He fell in love with Nefertari. Kaon then used Nefertari to torture Telemachon in the prison, which only furthered his love for her. Remember, he is an Emperor's Children.
That's the most Emperor's Children shit I've ever heard.
It is really, really funny. So this Dark Elder, because we haven't done the episode, specialize in torture more
Yeah.
than any human race. It's their bread and butter.
They know
It's
how
an
to pull
artwork.
nails off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
The
fingernails off
Dark Elder have flesh crafters.
it's an actual job.
Okay.
Yes.
I just saw you go in on yourself a little bit.
Yes, I do actually remember that because they're the ones that make a lot of the. Are they the ones that make the cloaks out of like people and that?
Yes. Well,
They
can.
love
Well,
that.
like,
They love
I mean, yeah, some of the Space Marines do that too.
But
But
they-
they
but-
love. They will find a way to make you scream forever for like thousands of years without dying and without your throat going sore, so that they can continue listening to your screams because it makes them happy.
To point out the difference between them and the Night Lords, the Night Lords will flay you for hours and then wear your skin as a cape as a trophy. The Dark Eldar will use Eldar technology to keep you alive as a cloak, so that way you continue to scream for their entire life.
Yes.
And your entire life. They will figure out ways to keep you alive for centuries.
But they also inflict pain on themselves
Oh,
and
yeah.
other Eldar. Like, the Night Lords aren't causing pain to themselves for the fun of it, but it's the
Night
Dark
Lords
Eldar do.
Night Lords don't do it to themselves. That's the Emperor's Children.
No, yes, but also the Dark Elder.
Yeah, Dark Eldar.
I
Yeah.
think we're gonna have to do a Dark Eldar episode.
Yeah, they
Well, we got to go through the Craftworld Eldar before we get to them.
the Dark Elder are like the edgiest. GW was trying to make a bad guy that are the baddest of the guys and worse than Chaos.
They are objectively the worst faction in all. of
They're
Warhammer.
hated by other Eldar for how like horrific
They hate
their
themselves.
shit is. They do. They actually hate themselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting back to it. So, Telephone, he was in love with Nefertari because she was torturing him and he was loving it. He was like, step on me, mummy.
The dual side of being an Emperor's Children fan.
Yeah.
You're like, I want to strive to be the perfect swordsman because I want to rival my Primarch. I want to be better than my Primarch. I want to be the greatest soldier in the universe. The other side of Emperor's Children, step on me, mummy.
Yeah, stick a knife up my...
Anyways,
Attach weights to my balls and
come on,
tickle
go,
them.
go through it. Come on.
So,
I don't want to hear about your Friday night.
Because
Come
of
on.
his love with Nefertari, he defected to Abaddon's side and served as a lieutenant and was rewarded with shards of the Sword of Sanguinius, which he reforged into a mask to look like his face had
Oh, okay.
previously. I'm assuming before the torture.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know that because I know Kaon used that shard of Sanguinius that was given to Abaddon by Abaddon, and he turned that into a scimitar or sword. of some sort.
And Telemachon continued to resent Kaon because of his position with Nefertari, and his love for Nefertari continued to grow, which is why he continued
Because
serving.
Nefertari was like his familiar servant.
Yeah. But the Swordmaster, Telemachon, became Lord of the Shrieking Masquerade, a war band of Chaos Raptors that served
Raptors.
Black
Right.
Legion. Yeah. Very, very cool. Interesting fella. Big masochist, like all the Emperor's children. I mean, everyone wants an elf waifu, don't they? But he took it to a whole nother level.
He went the bad elf.
He wanted
an elf tsundere.
This is like Tsundere times 11. Yeah.
Honestly, I came out of this liking him more, to be honest. just because
Respect!
just because he sounds interesting, but like it makes me want to read the first book because
Yes.
I know he's in the second book that we read, but
Yeah.
not that much.
This is going to be a pub for heretics.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
also,
shut up.
he's a dual-wielding sword fighter
Yeah.
who's in love with an elf waifu.
It's
And
just like finally a character that represents me.
he creates a mask out of Sanguinius's swords.
Which is good for you because you fucking hate
I
Sanguinius.
fucking hate Sanguinius, and I love cool masks.
Yeah.
You know, he is the BDSM of 40k.
He's more like the simp of 40k, but anyways.
I mean, yeah.
Anyways,
So
next
next
character.
up, we have Leorvine Urkis, who is known as Fire Fist. It's a pretty cool name. He hates it, though.
Fire Fist.
Yes. He hates the name.
Fire Fist, like from Deadpool. Deadpool 2. Fire Fists.
Oh,
New
yeah.
Zealand kid.
Except this guy came out before that. So,
He just sounds like one of those like Sunday wrestlers that you'll see at a convent at like.
well,
or
wait
whatever.
until you find out why he's called that. So he is the warband leader of the World Eaters, or was a warband leader of the World Eaters. He got the name Firefist because on the Siege of Terra, his plasma cannon exploded and burnt his arms off up to the elbow. And he hates the name because it reminds him of his like darkest time because he was unable to fight with his brothers on Terra because he lost his arms.
To fire.
Yeah, and people go around calling him Firefist, and he's just like, oh, that was my like worst memory.
kinda-
Why the hell are you calling me that?
It just kind of reminds me of like if you're a soldier and then you lose your legs to a mine and then your mates come in to see how you're doing and they get your shoes.
Yeah, and then call you Ironside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the best picture I could find him in there.
I was thinking that he was like Fire Fist because he just had like big fists that like when he punched they flame or something. No, he just lost them to fire.
But he's like he's one of the rare World Eaters that's all about guns. It's very uncommon, but yes, there were a small band of them.
So he didn't get new arms, like that was it. He was,
Oh, he got robot arms afterwards,
did,
but he
okay.
didn't have them for the Siege of Terra.
Yeah, part of his Ferris Manus cosplay.
Yeah.
His band is are the ones who saved Kaon, finding him on Prospero, and he and Kaon joined Felkus Kiba at the Black Legion fortress when it was attacked by the Emperor's children, and then went on to find Abaddon. They're all part of the founders of the Black Legion. These are like
They were like his Mournival.
yeah, these are the founders of the Black Legion under Abaddon. He lost a lot of his men, but managed to take Telemachon with prisoner. He was one of the other one who found and beat the shit out of Telemachon and made him a prisoner, handed him over to Kaon. And he also managed to fight against the Fabius Bile clones, taking a shitload of damage from clone Horus, basically beat to almost death. But yeah, he was part of that whole crew that started it up and like developed it.
Yeah.
After that, we have Folkus Kyber, speaking of, and his nickname Very cool nickname. Maybe a little too edgy.
Fire Fist 2.
Widowmaker.
Oh, okay.
He was a captain of the Sons of Horus, and was part of the Terminator squad with Abaddon. No, he was part of a Terminator squad, but he led the Justarians,
Yeah, he was.
which were like a select
and if you
group
remember-
of Terminators.
If you remember, Justarians were the Terminator first company of Sons of Horus, the ones that were the Black Plague that Abaddon led.
But he was a captain. They were actually the Justarians were kind of like the Atramenta.
Yeah, the first.
So they weren't the first company because
were.
Abaddon was the leader of the first company. The Justarians.
He's the
were
leader,
separate.
but you can have captains in there.
Well, he was the first captain,
Oh, okay.
and this was the captain of the Justarian.
All right.
Like, it's weird because they were such a big group. I think initially, when they were the Sons of Horus, they had like first captain and then captain of the Justarian. They had a lot of Terminators. They had like the best shit. But yeah, he was always close with Abaddon. He was also the one running the fortress when Abaddon was off having his little cry in the warp.
All alone with his 30,000 men.
Yeah, on the vengeful spirit. Yeah. And we heard the Emperor's children attacked and stole Horus' body. After learning of the clones, he's the one who gathered all of these other war bands together, Kaon and everybody, to go and find Abaddon, and then went to kill the clone Primarchs. And he is still serving Abaddon today as part of the Black Legion's Terminator Elite, known as the Bringers of Despair.
Edgelords.
Yeah, Widowmaker, the leader of the Bringers of Despair.
Whenever you say Widowmaker, I just think of like the
Sword in Game of Thrones.
Overwatch. Like
Yes.
The,
The
Widowmaker,
gun.
the character, yeah.
yeah, the cat. Yeah,
Or what
but
was it? No, the sword in Game of Thrones is Widow's Wail.
Yeah, that's right. That's even cooler. Next, we have a few other quick mentions, because there's honestly so many, and so many of them have a name and no lore. But there we have Skyrack Slaughterborn.
Hang on. Skyrax Slaughterborn.
I would be very impressed if you've come up with a picture of this dude.
Got it.
You did? Oh, excellent. He's a devotee of Nurgle.
I was about to say, very Nurgle based by the looks of him.
Yep. Who commands the Black Legion warband called the Bringers of Decay.
Which is the ones where the Death Guard go to.
Yeah, for the most part, they're the ones that he mentioned earlier. Then we have Zarafiston.
Sarah.
And guess what? He be fisting.
He's
He
a
be
EB Fist. Nah, nothing came up on him.
No, he's a former Thousand Suns sorcerer who predicts the future for Abaddon, essentially.
unlike Fire Fist, he has the fistin.
Yeah. Yes.
Nah, nothing.
And so he played a role in like one or two of the Black Crusades, and that's about all the lore that he got. Thrixus Hellbreed, an admiral of the fleet and commander of the Hounds of Abaddon.
Ooh, he's got a good one too.
Yeah.
So the Hounds of Abaddon are the World Eater ones.
Yeah. But he is also admiral of the fleet.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Not where I would expect him to be.
No. He is like void warfare and like logistics and all the kinds of shit you don't expect world eaters to be good at.
Yeah.
That's
Pretty astounding. Next up we have Aragast the Pillager.
I was hoping you'd mention him. Yeah.
Yeah, because you like Dawn of War, don't you?
I love the Dawn of War games, and for the longest, he was I would say the Chaos, either the villain depending on who you played, or the hero depending on which one you played.
Oh, I know
Yeah.
who you're talking about. Yeah, I love.
Yes.
He was for the longest time for the Warhammer community and for me myself. He was the person that you thought of when you thought of Chaos Marines, because he was like the quintessential poster boy for a long time because of this cool artwork.
Yeah, for a long time.
Now, I'm going to date myself here with how old I am, but when Dawn of War games came out, I was in high school, the first Dawn of War game. I, until only just recently, realized, because I played all the Dawn of War games, because I was a big WoW,
Yeah.
like, I played Warcraft 3 and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I played all the Dawn of War games, had no idea they were Warhammer.
Oh, really?
I had no idea. Like, I've just that part of my brain of like, I've played all of the Dawn of War games.
Yeah.
And
It's like playing Warcraft 3 without realizing it's part of WoW.
Yeah.
Like played. That's the other way around. But I have, yeah.
No, it isn't. Playing Warcraft without realizing it's part of WoW.
WoW is part of Warcraft. Warcraft 3 came before WoW.
No, that's what I mean. It's like playing
Oh,
Dawn.
yeah,
It's like playing
okay.
Dawn of War without realizing it's Warhammer.
Yeah, I had no... I played all the way through Dawn of War 1 and 2 and all the expansions. I owned all the expansions.
So you were a Blood Ravens fan then?
Wow. But I had no... Like, it didn't click to me that it was...
You just thought it was a
Warhammer.
fun game. You didn't care about the aesthetics.
You know what's funny? You know what's really funny? I haven't played a single Dawn of War game.
You should.
Oh, they're so good.
We'll do it on stream one
They're
day.
like-
'cause
Yeah,
it's
we'll
really
have
fun.
to.
They're like Red Alert. Like, I love like Command and Conquer, Red Alert,
Yeah.
all those games.
It's like
I love those kind of games too, but we
It's so
never
good.
had any. Like, I never played any of them. And I still haven't. I'll go back and I will definitely.
We'll play
them, though.
multiplayer online and take on each other and all that
Yeah,
shit. It'll
Dawn
be
of War,
fun.
Dawn of War
Because
was so good. Dawn of War 2 is the
Because the funny thing is that same thing happened. Like when I was living in the UK, I used to play those games because my mate recommended it to me. I knew they were Warhammer, but it just didn't click to me. Like I wasn't that invested in it, and I was like playing the Blood Ravens, and then I would bring up Grey Knights, and then just have them rush in and just like take out the demons, and I'm just like, all right, fine. With no significance as to who the Grey Knights were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, can we get back to my character? After Dawn of War, he comes from Dawn of War, but
So, which Blood Raven character is your favorite, James?
Oh, I can't remember.
get your loyalist shit out of my episode. He is the Chaos Lord of the Black Legion, or a Chaos Lord of the Black Legion.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is a bloodthirsty warrior, blessed by Khorne, but yet he's a heavy psyker. He's kitted out in sick Terminator armor, with a power sword and a combi flamer, but then he later on replaced these with a pair of lightning claws.
To be fair, you can be a psyker and be a champion of Khorne. It's just not likely because he doesn't like
less
psychers.
common,
Because
Yeah.
he doesn't like
Yeah, but he uses his psychic powers to make up for his lack of ranged attacks. Yeah, interesting. Dawn of War 2 character that GW made canon after the fact by releasing like 4 or 5 books about Dawn of War afterwards, and then they were like,
Yeah.
it's all canon.
Yeah, and now the Blood Ravens chapter has turned up in the Space Marines Codex, so they're canon too.
Yeah, they were made canon, yeah. But
Which-
it was like 20 years ago.
Which I don't see nothing wrong with that. It's fine.
Their lore is a bit shitty.
They're a little
But-
shitty, but that's because the games are very convoluted.
And
it depends
because
who
the
you
game
play.
developers like made it 20 years ago, and GW was like, yep.
Yeah, greenlight.
See, and that's
And
why
it's
I
like,
don't
oh
think-
yeah, you have this thing that you shouldn't have.
But here's the
Anyway.
thing, it's fine.
That's
It's my
why I
opinion.
think that I didn't like link it to. Well, I just thought it was a cool game with like cool characters.
Yeah.
Like I didn't link it to like, oh wait, this is actually a Warhammer game.
Mm.
Like I watched a video not that long ago of this person playing like every Warhammer game ever like made.
Yeah.
And there's like I had no idea that the Hero Quest.
Yeah.
I had no idea that Hero Quest had anything to do with GW or like
Yeah.
it's a GW game. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
like I've
One
got-
of their first, actually.
yeah, and I've got it, and I didn't know that it was GW.
Yeah.
Yeah,
got one
I
of the
don't want to bring it
originals
back to Dawn of War, but have you found Forgebreaker in there yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck do they have that?
Yeah,
Anyway.
why the fuck have they got that at all? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, next character, we have Varash Soulflayer. And he is a master of possession for the Black Legion, who commanded the flesh factory known as the Forge and Furnace.
The most edgy shit you can think of.
Yes. Can you...
Oh, he's this goat-headed fuck.
yes.
Oh, is
James,
he the
can you
actual
get-
Master of Possession?
He's one of them. So they all
He
dress
was
in
the
a very
base plate
similar
for
way.
it.
Oh yeah, because I just got that in the. I
Yeah,
bought it.
you've got the mini,
I
yeah.
bought it in the combat.
I
Patrol
will be
just
honest,
to get that.
they're the coolest looking minis in my opinion
Yeah,
for
he
the
is
for the
sick.
Legion, for the Black Legion.
I'm
The-
afraid
the-
to paint it because I can't paint that well, but he is sick.
Yeah.
what
do
I wanna
you have
do-
any idea what a flesh factory is?
I mean, I'm guessing that's where they get the material to make their coats.
Well, not
Yeah,
not
You're
quite.
not wrong.
Yeah.
But the Forge and Furnace might give you a better idea about what they do.
So what, they kill people and burn them and take their
Kind
skin?
of pump out demons
Oh,
and like flesh crafted things.
gotcha.
Yeah.
So basically, it's a forge where they summon demons into the material world and give them bodies.
I thought
Yes,
it was like
but also when they put them into weapons too.
I
Yeah.
thought it was like a slaughterhouse.
Just like, oh yes, new body. Oh no, machine.
Yeah. Oh shit! It's a sword. What the fuck?
Oh, I thought it was like a slaughterhouse, and that's where they get like the.
No, that's the battlefield.
Wow. Yeah, true.
That's,
Yeah.
that's the cash register at GW.
Yeah.
And Last one I have on here to mention is Zorphus the Tainted, also known as Zorphi the Taint.
Or sore fist my taint.
Zorphus the Taint.
No art on him so far.
Xorphas. No? Alright. He's a Tzeentch sorcerer lord who served Abaddon. Was a Thousand Son. He's the one who was taken by Tzeentch to the clockwork world, where he saw like the future, present, and the turning clockworks and like cogs basically all turning on each other. Have you heard about him?
No.
No? Oh, okay. But
Spoil away. Go ahead.
no, that's basically most of what it is. He basically got taken to this world by Tzeentch, and Tzeentch was like, ha 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 ha, look, you can see everything, this past, future, present, and different futures that may or may not be true. But the whole world was basically working as like a great big cog.
It's almost like the Watcher in Marvel.
Yeah, kinda.
Like he can show the future of different realms.
Except he likes fucking with people.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But he's not like the Watchers. Yeah.
Yeah. But then in the 13th Black Crusade, he used an artifact to try to break a demon cage on Anathal to open up a new warp rift. He managed to weaken it after trying and losing most of his men, and he knew it would open in time, and then decided to dip because shit was going bad in the 13th Crusade, and, you know, fucking knife ears.
Knife Ears, Belisarius Call, and Trays in the Infinite.
Belisarius Call grabbed the artifact and dipped by that point.
Yeah. That's what
They
I mean.
were very mad that he stole the artifact because that was part of what Abaddon was there to grab. But we will cover all of that in the Fall Acadia episode because it needs its own shit. I had just one more thing because we mentioned them. The Hounds of Abaddon. So we talked about these just before. The Hounds of Abaddon often form the spearhead of Black Legion assaults, led by Threxus Hellbreed, who we talked about, a dread champion of Khorne. These warriors owe allegiance to both the Despoiler and the Blood God. In honor of their patron deity, the Hounds of Abaddon often adorn their black plate with flashes of blood red. They lack the unity to be described as a true warband, bound only by a shared desire to slaughter. The Hounds are known to field many Khorne berserkers, drawn to Hellbreed's banner by the promise of slaughter, and have earned the respect of Harken Worldclaimer, who values the psychological impact of their reckless assaults. The Hounds proved their worth during the Savage War for the planet Vigilus, notably butchering an entire Astra Militarum regiment in a bloody assault upon Mortwald's new Vitae docks. And, so as we mentioned before, Vigilus was the planet with Manius Calgar that they did in the Gothic War. Yeah, I just thought I'd mention that because you did bring up the red shoulder pauldron on Hellbreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're very spiky looking boys.
That's basically chaos.
That's chaos.
They're the ones with the spikes.
Yeah.
Spike boys.
And that's about all I have for the Black Legion. They are
Thank fuck that's
really, really cool. Oh, man, we talked more about anything else other than Black Legion this whole fucking
which
episode.
will help me sleep tonight.
Yeah.
This episode was a bit of
But
a...
honestly, because the Black Legion is such like a hosh bosh gosh of all the other legions, all you need to know about is a little bit about Abaddon, and that's essentially it.
Yeah, and a lot of the shit for Black Legion I already covered in the Abaddon episode. You know, their past as the Lunar Wolves and the Sons of Horus, and then eventually the Black Legion after Horus's death.
They were the only army to die
with their Primarch, yeah.
Their
Die with
Primarch.
their Primarch,
Because
yeah. And then be
Black Legion are
rebirthed
just like-
into a new by their first captain. And like, if we think about first captains that have taken over from their Primarchs, Manius Calgar did a pretty shit job.
I think he did a good job. And I'm not even an Ultramarines fan. You're the Ultramarines fan.
He was basically reprimanded by Gilliman after he came back.
Yeah, who cares what Gilliman thinks?
Calgar was shit.
It's up to you.
He failed. He should have died at Abaddon's hands, but he did tricky shit with the Eldar and managed to survive.
I think Calgar did an alright job.
No, he spent too much time with the elves.
That's why you didn't like him.
Bloody knife ears.
No, but he also let like a third of the Ultramar worlds get like ravaged by
fair
shit.
enough. Fair enough then.
Yeah,
I don't care
and
enough to
allowed a
care.
whole bunch of like corruption into the worlds of Ultramar from the Greater Imperium, all of the religious aspects and shit. Yeah, no, so they have really interesting characters.
Do you feel better now, James, knowing more about the Legion that you spent so much money on?
Hey, I'm chaos through and through, so
Yeah, but you
No,
also
but,
have
like-
all of the models that basically represent the like main characters that we talked about too.
You bought these models before you even knew the character names or backstories.
The only one you're missing is to buy like a sorcerer lord from Thousand Suns and paint him all black and do him up as Chaos.
Yeah, you basically have all these characters now.
But you have like the Chaos Lords, you have the Chaos Sorcerer, you have like Harken World Claimer, you have Abaddon.
I don't have Fabius, whatever his name is.
Oh, I've got a Fabius Bile,
Fabius
yeah.
Bile.
But
I
he's
don't have that.
he's Emperor's Children, but he's also his own faction. Because,
Yeah, but I think he's about to be taken out of Black Legion and put into the Emperor's Children.
yeah, either that.
Also,
or, either
which is
that
so
or-
funny that they always ran him with Black Legion because Black Legion kind of hates Fabius Bile.
for that reason.
Yeah, for the reason of the clones and shit, and
Yeah.
like I don't know why they always like because he's always been part of Black Legion because Emperor's Children didn't have their own like.
Because at the
thing.
moment, Lucius the Eternal, I think, has a model,
Yeah.
and Fabius Bile. Those are the only Emperor's Children models that are like you can use at 40k.
Yeah.
Or hopefully.
Hopefully at the end of the year, yeah.
Yes.
Because
My
I would
secret
buy
reveal.
the shit out of.
My thinking is that they're going to release the Emperor's Children Codex, and then inside you can bring in like one or two different types of warbands, like with Emperor's Children, and then Fabius Bile as well. He'll have his own like little subsection or little detachment, because then you can take Marines and also Creations of Bile. Because he used to have his own army, which was just Creations of Bile
Yeah.
in 9th edition.
Yeah, but then also I think they're like a lot of the others that are being started out, like the Night Lord's army. They're like, oh yeah, just have a shitload of cultists and paint them like you want for Emperor's Children. Like they'll just do that. They'll be like, oh, you need foot troops. We already have cultist models. Just use cultist models, and that's like their go-to. They will get some new models, but I think a large part of Emperor's Children armies, it's just going to be like Lucius, Fabius, cultists, and some Noise Marines.
I just want Noise Marines.
I
That's what I
personally think they're going to, because I don't think they're going to fumble that, despite the fact that they fumbled everything else. But I think that they're not going to fumble that. I think they're going to give them the same amount of range that they've given the World Eaters recently, and then, Death Guard. And
Fuck no, World Eaters have so much range. They'll get
I
like
know that,
Night
but
Lord's treatment.
but that's what I mean, is that I think they're going to get like an orchestra box where you can have Noise Marines in their own orchestra. I think you're going to get Slaneshi cultists that are going to have like mismatched different types
You
of
think
like,
or you hope?
I hope and think. Because because I don't.
It's an educated
No,
hope.
because they've planned this for a long time. They've planned bringing out the big four. They started years ago with Magnus and the Thousand Suns, and then Death Guard with Mortarion, and then they've done Angron and the World Eaters. So they've had a clear vision for a while. So they've had a lot of time to think about it.
Yeah.
So if they do fumble it, it would be their biggest fumble in my opinion.
Because
I think they'll release that much over time. I think at the end of the year, we'd be lucky to get Fulgrim. We're likely to get Noise Marines, and there's probably going to be a combat patrol box or a kill team that's just like what they did with the Night Lords.
But it's crazy because they brought out the Fulgrim, and this is when I started like buying. But I remember that they brought out that Fulgrim. It's only a
30k model, yeah.
yeah, but
It's only a Horus Heresy resin.
yeah, it's the resin, but it seemed to have sold really well. Like
Horus
anytime,
Heresy sells pretty well.
anytime I went to like look at it, it was sold out everywhere. Like so,
It's a pretty cool looking model.
yeah,
Oh, it's
yeah,
a great looking model. It just makes me wonder what they're going to do for 40k since they've already brought that out.
Yeah, something very, very slightly different.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
would do. They would
More demonic, in my opinion.
They would do still like his demon form, but maybe just not as like because the one for Horus Heresy was very like
Newly corrupted.
yeah, but it was also very like big and brittle. Like it almost seems like a display piece.
It was more like a diorama
like it
than
almost
anything
like
else.
yeah, like the what are they Joy Toys or whatever?
Yeah.
It's almost like
Oh
that.
no, Joy Toys are more fucking sturdy than that.
Oh no, but I mean like they're a display
Size-wise,
piece.
yeah,
They're not
yeah.
like an actual thing.
Yeah.
Like I find that would be so hard to be able to traffic to like a game.
You mean like a Lord Discordant?
Oh well.
But bringing it back to Black Legion, there's one unit that I really want to see them bring back into Chaos Space Marines, that I know they won't, but it pisses me off. Back in the day, you could run Chaos Dreadnoughts. And they weren't just
Like
the
normal
Hell
dreadnoughts,
Brutes.
but with like chaos on them.
Oh, really?
They used to be able to just get a normal dreadnought and
And-
just chaos it up, and it had rules that you could run it as like chaos.
That would be sick.
Because there are some really fucking cool chaos dreadnoughts, like Malkarian from the Night Lords
trilogy. So in the Night Lords trilogy, there's an old Night Lord character that's in like a normal dreadnought, like one of those old pattern dreadnoughts, but he's super sick in it. And for the warbands and for the legions that haven't turned to chaos,
Yeah.
it just makes sense that they would have a normal dreadnought around, or they would repurpose one that they've taken from like Blood Angels, for example.
Also, my Death Guard. Dreadnoughts are like on topic for the Death Guard.
Could you not run a dreadnought and just use just substitute it for like a Hellbrute? Like, couldn't you just
No, but here's
use
the
the
thing:
Hellbrute?
you probably could. Well, different base size, I think.
And it's probably got
on
different-
base size, different stats, different thing entirely. It would make more sense to have like a trader dreadnought, for
Yeah.
example. I would prefer that.
I would love that. But then also, because Space Wolves have their own dreadnought. They have like their own dreadnought that is like a named character dreadnought.
Bjorn.
Yes. Sick model. If they did more things like that, I would be like, oh yeah, give me. I don't even have a Blood Angels army. Not even a big Blood Angels fan. But give me a really sick looking Blood Angels.
Catholic blood themed kind
Yeah,
of one.
with the great big like blood drop on the front and
Big
just
giant chalice as well. Yeah. I would like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I would buy the shit out of that.
What's the vampire guys? What are the?
That is the
Blood
Blood
Angels.
Angels.
It is a blood angel.
Yeah.
You could do like a coffin, like for.
They are coffins.
They are.
Have you
it's like-
seen what?
No. But I mean, like a wooden. Like you could do like.
Oh, like a full on Dracula
window,
thing.
yeah. You know, like the window where you see like in the like you could do like
Yeah.
coffin making like.
You just
that
see
would-
Dracula's face from Hotel Transylvania, like, give me your blood.
That would be sick, like a dreadnought
I
with like
think-
coffin.
I think they should do like upgrade sprues for specific chapters and legions.
Yeah.
So you could add them on top of normal dreadnoughts. And I think that they should bring like Redemptor dreadnoughts and that kind of shit into Chaos.
Yes.
Because it just makes sense. And especially with what we've seen in books, not just the Night Lords trilogy, but like they would repurpose this technology.
Yeah.
But the problem is that everything has to be chaosified with chaos.
So could they not just do like you could buy a dreadnought and then just buy an upgrade sprue that's like just the chaos?
Well, they used to just make people kit bash it. I
mean,
mean,
Yeah.
you used to
could
just
kit-
buy
I'm-
like a Space Marine one and then just kit bash it and call it a chaos
No,
one.
I'm just trying to think of like how GW can make money from doing
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Like so
Upgrade
they would-
sprues would be the way to go. But the
Yeah,
problem is,
so
is
they
that
could do an upgrade.
But the problem is that they wouldn't make dreadnoughts interchangeable between Chaos and Loyalist, which is fucking
Which they
annoying.
used to.
But
But
they used
then
to be able to.
it's still more people buying the dreadnoughts.
Oh, I mean,
And it's
I
like
would buy
they're
a
not
dreadnought
cheap units.
to-
They're not cheap
But
models
how they
to
would
buy.
do it is that they would make Chaos dreadnoughts, so that way you have
Yes.
to buy more.
But then they're like, oh no, Hellbrutes cover that. And it's like they don't.
No.
They don't have the same
Hellbrutes,
shit.
Hellbrutes are not the same thing.
No. They not even nearly the same thing. And I mean they're cool. I have a Hellbrute.
But the thing is that
Like,
Chaos,
Hellbrute.
yeah.
But the thing is that Games Workshop only focuses on the factions that are chaosified and demon worshipping and all that kind of shit. But at the same time, I would love to see either upgrade sprues or a dedicated like dreadnought per legion. But the problem is that doesn't sell kits. So
yeah, I know, I get
that's
that, but-
amazing why they get up us for going 3D printing when there is a 3D file for each legion.
Yeah, well, like, because upgrade sprues wouldn't be that much work for them, and they would make money off it. Like, there is a Salamander Dreadnought that has, like, a cloak of, like, dragon skin around him, with,
Yeah.
like, a huge, great big fuck-off Thunderhammer, like, for a Dreadnought
And it's
size.
got a big giant chalice of fire behind it and all that
Yeah,
shit.
with a great big and like, you know, a combi flamer, or which is whatever the dreadnought equivalent is like a
I
storm
don't-
flyer.
Are you talking about like a dreadnought?
Yes.
Is that a dreadnought upgrade sprue?
No, but they should.
Oh,
because
they
there's
should,
a
yeah, I was about to say,
there's
they
a
should do that.
named salamander that's like that.
Yeah, well, I would love to see things like that. But the
Yeah.
thing is that like with Imperial Fists, even Ultramarines.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
nothing.
Infist is just going to be standard because they're by the rules. They're
I
like,
mean,
it's just-
even
Well,
as small
like
as
imagine like having that level of like embellishment that you can put on you.
Yeah.
That would be great.
yeah,
even though we are a small channel, if anyone from GW is listening,
Please disregard
Please-
everything we
please
gave
do.
hate about you.
please do these things.
please don't listen to us.
Please don't listen to us and listen to us at the same time.
We would love some Chaos Dreadnoughts.
If I could,
Well,
had one
admittedly, they
wish-
did listen to the people when it came to Chaos Knights, so maybe who knows. But I just think here's the problem. is that
we the
they've-
people need to kick up a big storm about Chaos
Yeah.
Dreadnoughts.
But
Let's
he-
get some
but here's the
Chaos
thing.
Dreadnoughts out there.
Here's the thing. The problem is with Games Workshop is that because they have to do everything on a slow release schedule, because they have to have those long plans in the head, they also then have to be like, okay, well, we're going to release these models later down the track. So they probably already have these ideas written on a board somewhere, but they haven't either A, released them, or the concept's not done, or they are planning to release them at some point, but we just don't know that because we're not involved.
hurry up.
I don't
then.
want to do the squats thing where like they removed them a couple of like games ago, and now I have to wait 10 years for them to bring them back, and
I
then
know.
they fumble it.
I know. I totally
Or like
agree.
the old world. They get rid of fantasy and then bring in old world like 10 years later.
Oh yeah, no. But anyway, that's mine. That's what I want for the Black Legion and Chaos Space Marines more than anything.
Yeah. But the problem is that because Black Legion is so amorphous, that there's a giant level of creativity that you can use with it. But anyways, we're droning on.
Yeah, we are.
I just need some more named characters because I've already bought every one of them for the Black Legion.
They don't need more named characters. Fuck's sake, they don't need any more.
They do.
They don't. Build up the ones they've already got and then go from there.
Once
You know
more.
what they need? They need more different types of normal Space Marines other than just Legionnaires, just
Oh,
like
I
the normal
know.
Space Marines do.
Well, there's
'Cause-
normal Legionnaires and there's Chosen. But that's
yeah,
about it.
yeah,
Wow.
and then the normal Space Marines. How many freaking things do they have?
Yeah.
Well, they don't get to use demons, that's for sure.
No, yeah, and like we do have the Raptors too, but
and the Warp Talon.
and the Warp Talons.
But the problem is that Space Marines are where it sells, but I would love to see more options for Chaos Space Marines instead of just Legionnaires. Maybe not introducing Night Lords, but having maybe Chain Glaive units or Thunderhammer units. Something like that.
The weapon variety in 10th is my biggest gripe. It's my biggest gripe because it was
And
bigger
everything-
in 9th, and they're like, "Oh, we made it more simple," and I'm like, "But I want
s-
weapon variety."
I see what you were going with, but the problem is that now you've just taken away, you've gone the exact opposite and just downgraded everything just to an accursed weapon, and that's it.
Yeah, and I mean, I understand where they went with removing point costs for weapons, but
Oh,
then
totally. But the problem
also
is that they've
weapon
removed
selection.
any sort of aesthetic ability to customize your character.
Also, if you've looked at, if you've played the army that your opponent is playing, you know exactly what the fuck they're using.
Yeah, because there's no there's
All
only,
the same.
Yeah.
It's all the same.
I do have one thing that I wish that they would make more of is they seem to have very limited vehicles in the way of I know that there's big vehicles there's the Lord Discordant and there's the
Oh, the demon engines. Yeah.
yeah, but
And Lord Skulls.
even just they only have the Rhino.
The Chaos Rhino is the only tank that
That's
they can
it.
use. Yeah.
You could do so many even Death Guard. Death Guard have some really cool tanks that I've just
Yeah.
started.
But you can't take them in Black Legion.
But you
right?
can't
And they
take
don't
them
have
bef-
transport.
No, but okay,
I
why?
would love to see a Chaos Land Raider.
Yeah, I would love to see a Predator. You know, the big,
big
fuck off tank that
tank,
was
yeah.
capable.
I'm just checking to see if we can actually take them.
Or even the whole dreadnought thing that.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me as okay, well if they don't have tanks and stuff like that, but yeah, if there was somebody that had died, then someone in the they would have jumped into it and been
You're telling me that Iron Warriors aren't still making weapons that aren't demon engines and
Yeah.
tanks and heavy shit?
So you can take Predator Annihilators and Destructors and all that and Chaos Land Raiders, but it just
they're
they're pretty basic.
what are they called? They're
Chaos Land Raiders.
Yeah.
No,
but
they're allied units.
allied units,
and you can
but
only
you-
take
yeah.
a certain.
You can only take-
certain.
They're under other data sheets and allied units.
Yeah,
think you
which
can
means
only
that
take-
in a
But in but in dedicated transports, all you get is Chaos Rhino.
Yeah.
yeah, but so in the allied units, you can only take 500 points in a 2,000 point army or something like that.
Yeah, it's
which
like
means you
very
can
limited.
take one.
Yeah.
Because they're like 350 or something.
Yeah.
Because like you do actually have a decent amount. Like I'm looking up and down now, and you do have a decent amount of like you got the Mauler Fiend, you got the Helldrake,
Oh,
you got
the demon engines.
the Hell
We do-
Brood,
we do have
you got the
demon
Forge
engines.
Fiend, you got the Defiler, you got the Vindicators.
Yes, but none of them have transport.
No.
Yeah, none of them have transport, and at the same time, like for a person that doesn't care that much about the meta, I just want to play like a thematically Night Lord's army. And
Yeah.
my army would not be bringing in chaos shit like Forge Fiends
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Mauler Fiends.
That's like kind of just like
And-
limits the
And
variety. you
those
can
that
do.
are listening that are just like, oh, but that's not the optimal way to play. And I'm just like, I'm not here to fucking play. I'm here to make an army of something that I like and enjoy.
Yeah, we
And
play
I
a lot
shouldn't
of story games.
Yeah, and story games are where narrative plays are where we play.
Yeah.
So and it's not all just about the meta.
We play a lot of games, but we don't play tournaments.
No,
We play friendly matches. Like
Yeah,
I have a
which
couple
is
other
most
mates
of
that I
Warhammer
play
players.
like Warhammer games with. Ken, yes, I know we do need to play another game really soon. I promise we will.
But it's also like I'm not going to go to a tournament. I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
It just
I kind of want to do a tournament.
Like no,
I'm
but
going
like
to PAX in a few weeks, so I'm like,
You haven't even beaten us.
No, but like go.
hey, maybe I'll find.
But like, go to a local tournament or something like that, like at your local game shop. But like, I don't want to go to the LVO or whatever it is, Las Vegas Open. Like, that just seems like a daunting thing that I'm not going to enjoy.
Don't
If I'm going
say,
to Las Vegas, I'm not going for it.
If I'm going to Vegas, I'm not going to go to Warhammer. Fucking hell.
don't say no. What if they invite us?
If they invite us, that's one other thing. But here's the thing, like, it's just
They're
it
not
just
going
doesn't
now.
seem.
You said no.
Well, it just doesn't sound that fun, and I could be wrong, and I want to be proven wrong. Free tickets my way, but like you know what I mean. It just
Nice
meta plays are just not where I'm.
No,
focusing
yeah.
on.
Even if I went to a tournament, I wouldn't play the meta.
Yeah.
I play to have fun and like
With Warhammer, I'm used to losing.
with the army that I like.
Me too.
Yeah, I don't even like running Mortarion and Typhus in the same Death Guard army because, they don't really get along. Even though
Yeah.
they have fought together and would fight together if the need arose.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm like, I would rather run one or the other, like, in it.
I'd rather play narrative, like story games with you, like with my Raven Guard versus
Yeah.
your Gene Stealers. Like, that's more fun to me than playing in a tournament.
That's because you won.
No, not because I won, but because it makes sense to the story.
Yeah, no. And
That what you and I are playing together, I mean.
yeah. And, your Night Lords versus my Ultramarines. That'd
Yeah.
be a fun matchup.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, we digress.
Yes. Anyway, there's been a lot of shenanigans in this episode, but I hope you guys enjoyed listening to
As
our
Black
little...
Legion encompasses everything,
We're a
so
bit-
does our talks about it.
We're a bit delirious. We've recorded a fair bit.
Yeah, we recorded a lot today.
It's been fun though. I always enjoy talking about Black Legion. I was glad that I got to share some more about the your second army or your first army.
This is first, isn't it?
First army, my
Well,
second army.
My first army was technically the Blue Boys, but I never painted them.
So it's not your
Yeah.
army.
So basically
They're
your
my
first
first.
army.
They're my first one that I painted and
I would always consider your
actually
first army
played.
as the one you dedicate the most of your time
Yeah,
into.
they're my first
Like,
army.
in the beginning, I mean.
Yeah.
My second army is Death Guard, apparently now.
Because I bought, like, Marines, Marines
after
and
that
Necrons.
episode, I went and spent a bit on Death Guard.
You
so-
just wait till we do the Death Guard episode. Oh, we're gonna have a good time. It's gonna be like a 4-hour episode on Mortarion, and then it's gonna be a 4-hour episode on Death Guard.
And
so
then we're all
strap
gonna-
your
we're all gonna sit
motherfucking
in this
asses
room.
into your seat.
We're all going to sit in this room, it'll stink, and it'll be thematically correct.
Yeah, we will rot into our seats with the blessings of Grandpa Nurgle. But that's enough. That's enough getting off the topic there. Thanks for listening, guys. I've been Corbin.
I've been James.
And I've been Blake. Thank you for tolerating us for this long.
All right, join us next time when we go into some more Xenos. We're going to be talking about
Oh yeah, what are we doing next time?
the Tyranids,
Oh, we're doing Tyranids and
the Hungry Bugs, and the Gene Stealers.
Steelers. Yeah,
The
but
human.
Tyranids next.
Yeah. Unless we change our mind midway through the week, and you'll find out later anyway.
It'll be a surprise.
All right, thanks for listening, guys.
Bye.
Death to the false emperor.
But I'm failed again.
For the glory of chaos!